24 hours until the Champions League final.
Wrong.
Will Real Madrid...
Wrong.
What? It's Friday.
22 hours.
Big news.
Big news.
Fake news. It's, will Real Madrid go back-to-back for the first time in history?
Do you think Drake will change his song lyrics? Back-to-back like Real Madrid 16-17.
That's very true. It doesn't go as 96, 97.
Yeah,
but still,
well.
by the way, did you hear the rumor that Meek Mill listens to back-to-back for motivation all the time?
Because it's a diss track.
Yeah, and it's the best diss track of all time.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've talked about it. I've talked about this with Ja'Cory too on the show. I think we talked about it with you. It's like the whole diss track thing, like, some of them are really bad.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not wrong here. When
No, they're really bad.
And especially if the beef is between anybody with a Lil not named Wayne.
Yeah, no, the diss tracks are ridiculous, but the point I'll always make is that Drake undoubtedly redefined the diss track game by making a diss track that became the sound of what that era, that year or whatever he released it, that became his most popular song, and it was about someone. So he had the double-edged sword of having to, like, Meek Mill had the double insult of having a song about him, and then everyone was just like walking down the street singing it. No one just walks down the street singing the diss track. Everyone's like, back about Meek Mill. So therefore, bent over on that.
What was Meek Mill doing?
I have no idea.
It's not like challenge the guy. It's not like Drumline where you're challenging the guy to take his spot as like a P4 over a P5. You're like a P-3 taking on a P5.
Very true.
Definitely got that wrong. But sorry,
so yeah, the Champions League is upon us. I'm very excited. Can't wait to see the game tomorrow. A lot of predictions I have in me head. Midfield battle that could be discussed.
Predictions. You get one prediction.
No, I have
a lot of them.
I don't have a lot that I'm going to vocalize.
I have Juve 2-1, Real Madrid 3-2. I also took 0-0 draw Juve in penalties. I got 1-1 draw Real Madrid in penalties.
The funny thing is of course, being the internet-ran company that we are, our internet is currently just took a massive faceplant.
I'm gonna explode.
And Jason gathered a lot of elements that he amply told me before the camera. Said I'm going to talk to you about these elements that I gathered. So Jason, why don't you spend the next 10 seconds reminding us of what elements you were actually looking forward to?
For this, you're gonna get starting 6 for Real Madrid. It's about the most I can name. You might get like a starting 9.
All right.
So it's a very strange Champions League coming your way. But for Juve, because I think I know them a little bit better for whatever reason, it's Gianluigi Buffon.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And you're supposed to do it in the back, the back up. Barzagli, Bonucci, Chiellini as your back 3. Dani Alves will be in there. I'm missing a few though because I know, and then all the way up top is Higuain. Mandzukic is going to play behind him off to the right. According to Fox Sports, Pjanic wasn't going to be
interesting. Or Marquisio, depends what way they've got.
Marquisio might have been there.
They've got a lot of players to choose from. You know, Dybala.
Dybala was in there. So you get a starting 9.5.
So yeah, you will not get analysis like that. You take the elements away from us, and we absolutely fall.
But you know Real Madrid's pretty back and forth.
Well, of course, the Real Madrid is a go-to of what you expect this season, and they have the ability to pull from the bench as both teams have, and what I mentioned. But it's going to be a battle of the midfield. Again, I mentioned in the previous clip, it's not just going to be a battle of the width, which I mentioned when Dani Alves coming up against Marcelo, that I am still mouth-watering at the thought. I mean, I'm definitely salivating at the thought of that. But at the midfield, Khedira up against his old squad, obviously knows his German teammates and Toni Kroos coming up against the likes of Luka Modric. And again, Real Madrid have the ability to switch with an Arsenal off the bench. They have the ability, whether they go with Isco or not, whether they start with Casemiro, whether or not Casemiro is going to hold them a little deeper. It's just,
I think a lot of this is going to be somewhat hinged on Bale is 75%. Do you start Gareth Bale? If you don't start Gareth Bale, do you sub him in? Would seem like a game changer. Could be a game changing moment or a terrible idea depending on what happens. If you're Zidane, you're the bald eagle. You've headbutted people in the finals, but you've won lots of things.
I don't start.
Buffon beat him in the Italy versus France.
I don't start Gareth Bale.
You don't start Gareth Bale, and who do you?
Isco.
Okay.
Does that answer the quick?
Yeah.
The quick hits.
I thought it was gonna have like way more emphasis.
No, that's because Real Madrid have already basically proven that they. You know my thoughts on Gareth Bale. He's one of the most harshly scrutinized players in a Real Madrid jersey, and then one of the most highly celebrated when he scores a game-winning goal in a Champions League final, so that everyone remembers, oh wait, he is really good. But he's always going to face that form of scrutiny. But either way, I think that Real Madrid at this moment in time have been playing very well without Gareth Bale in their starting 11. And Isco has refound himself under Zinedine Zidane. We talked this as soon as Zidane was there and how he, not always starting Isco, coming off the bench, finding his way, but in certain aspects has grown as a player and has found himself back in the good graces of Real Madrid, with the likes of James falling further by the wayside. And that's just the way it works under Zinedine Zidane's system that relies heavily on bench players and depth. Cristiano Ronaldo, as you know, Karim Benzema. I'd imagine Ronaldo might start. Karim Benzema. But the way that the Real Madrid system works, of course, as we mentioned before, they're going to be very high tempo. They're going to press Juventus. Juventus, I imagine, depending on the way the game starts, maybe look to get up early and then sit deep. Not as deep as you'd expect them to do, they did against Barcelona, because we did mention this as well. If you do that against Real Madrid, I think you're up against a different animal in terms of a team that's so confident, have so many different weapons to throw at you going forward, pulling from their fullback area, like Marcelo pushing higher up, supporting the attack. I think it would be only a matter of time if Juventus did go 1-up, if they sat back, that it would end up going 1-1. So yeah, Toni Kroos is going to have a vital role. Modric in keeping Real Madrid pressed higher up the park, in not allowing Juventus to get out if they do happen to start a little higher. Because if you allow Juventus to go 1-0 up, even though I said Real Madrid have the possibility of getting back, they don't want to replay that same old story. It happened last Champions League final. It happened the one before that against Atletico Madrid. They go a goal down and then they have to kind of push. Not in the last Champions League final, but it has happened to them against more defensive-minded teams like Atletico Madrid in the past. They would prefer to maybe go 1-up and then they'd be on the front foot and they're not chasing the game towards the end. And it just depends on what type of system that Allegri is going to put forward. I look to Khedira, as I mentioned before, as an example of how Juventus are playing. If he's sitting in and around his own half in that deeper area, the Juventus are sitting a little maybe too deep, and it will allow Real Madrid to come on to them to start the game a little higher up.
I want #deep. I want tell your girlfriend your biggest fears deep. I want them to invite Real Madrid over to dinner in the box and just keep inviting, because look, from the Juventus fanboy in me side of this,
yes,
there is something remarkable about the fact that Juventus does not crack if they're putting on a ridiculous attack on you.
Yeah.
And we also have to remember it did take the wonder kid, the 18-year-old, to break through a point of 600 minutes of no goals.
Very true.
But you're dealing with Real Madrid. They have more than one guy. They actually have like 7 guys.
That's very true.
Maybe sometimes 10 who can score with both feet, their heads, and you can't use your hands. But if you could, they'd use their hands. My point being is, if they invite them into this very deep zone, again,
just
deep.
so deep with this.
Deep.
It's making me a little.
It will provide the 1 or 2, and I really do mean 1 or 2 opportunities to pounce on a counterattack and find a way to score there. I don't think Juventus gets a lot of opportunities to score. I think Real Madrid gets a lot of opportunities to score, but Juve doesn't really shy away from that.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, no matter how I see it panning out, I can't see Real Madrid going 90 minutes without scoring a goal. And I also really can't see Juventus scoring 2. Like 2 goals, like number 2. So
well, that's my prediction.
And then when you get into the 90 to 122nd minute, because a lot of finals do come down to some extra time, Real Madrid's going to win in penalties again. It's going to break my Buffon heart.
No, they're going to win in extra time. It won't go to penalties.
Oh, don't do that.
Here's my.
It's going to break me because, again, it will be remarkable and unbelievable. And of course, I am happy to admit that Real Madrid, whoever wins this, is the deserving team to win it. It's just I really, really want Juventus
I know.
to win.
Obviously, there's a big part of me that wants to see
the worst analysis ever.
Everybody wants me to. Well, this clip isn't more about analysis. It's just
about how
what,
much I want Juve to win. I want to buy a Buffon shirt.
Buffon lifting the trophy would be ceremonial. Here's my bit by bit of how the game is going to go. I think the Juventus are going to come out and play incredibly well from the get-go and really surprise Real Madrid, even though they've probably watched. Minutes long,
do you think
hours
fun
long,
tape
days
to watch?
long
Be
tapes.
like, oh no, oh my God, Jesus.
Watching
Christ,
tapes and tapes and tapes of Juventus. I think they'll go 1 goal up. Yes, I think Dybala will put them 1 goal up. I'm going to break it down even further because if I put this on, you'll know that I won a lot of money. Within the first 20 minutes. I think Real Madrid will equalize just before halftime.
Of course.
Just to kind of cause a little bit of a problem, maybe like the 40-ish minute. I think it'll be 1-1 right through the second half. I think Real Madrid will pepper the goal. I think Juventus might have a chance or two to sneak it,
Maybe
but I think it's going to go into extra time. And I think that again, call me cliche,
with the head.
It's written. No, I don't think Ramos. He might have scored the equalizer. Cristiano Ronaldo will win it in extra time, 2-1 in the second half of extra time. Don't call me Mystic Maxwell for no reason.
I got Alves and Dybala each getting a hat trick. 6-0 Juventus.
In an absolute bloodbath of a Champions League final.
I mean, I would be
Buffon even comes out of goal in the 80th. They don't even have a goalie.
Imagine they go to PKs and it goes all the way through and Buffon scores the game-winning penalty.
No, but see, that's the thing. If it goes to PKs, like, that just screams Real Madrid wins. Like, I mean, come on.
I know.
The depth, that's my biggest worry with an extra time with Juventus is that extra 30 minutes as Real Madrid goes way deeper and with a back three who I know are in great shape.
Yeah, but you're right.
They're fit, but that's
Chiellini's 30.
You're asking a lot for three guys who have played stonewall defensive football for a whole season. It all comes down to this. Gareth Bale, by the way, is playing in his hometown. I would really hope to see him on the pitch at some point.
Absolutely.
Come on, that's cool.
That is.
It's like playing the Champions League final at Celtic Park with you playing for Celtic as a Celtic in your backyard.
In another life, maybe, Jason.
Comment below, leave us your predictions. We give away t-shirts, but it's too easy. Like 50 of you will get like the final prediction right. I mean, none of you are gonna get 6-0 like me. That's where you're getting the real analysis from. But hey, hashtag buy me a Buffon shirt.